Hello, welcome back to the pod. This is Green Balance. Today we have a super special guest, Rachael. And this podcast, feel free to subscribe, is for CEOs, athletes, doctors, wellness enthusiasts, professionals, brand owners, executives, founders, wellness leaders, high performance individuals, and people who have a story connected to health, discipline, resilience, or leadership. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This space is designed to be conversational, practical, and inspiring. We want guests here to inform us on the wellness journey, their career evolution, personal routines, dietary habits, achievements, challenges, and any advice for others building a healthier, more intentional life. Nothing here is specific dietary advice. We will be discussing general professional conversations and shared research, but be sure to book in one-on-one with a professional for specific guidelines. Without further ado, I met Rachael in Palm Beach and I was blown away by her glow and her beauty. I'm so excited for her to be on the show today. Rachael Varga, nurse and Bachelor of Science as a double board certified nurse specialist, aesthetic or aesthetics. Since 2011, Rachael has been offering medical aesthetic rejuvenation in the specialty of oculoplastics and is known for providing a natural, healthy-looking transformation and educating through her show, the School of Radiance podcast. I love this podcast. Be sure to check it out. She has performed over 20,000 rejuvenation procedures and is also a trainer for other practitioners for rejuvenation procedures, including medical grade, skincare, laser skin rejuvenation, injectables, including neuromodulators and dermal fillers, and in the slowing of aging in general. Rachael is passionate about delivering the highest standard of care with a focus on what the patient's specific rejuvenation goals are, with a tailored approach to suit their needs, values, and lifestyle. She has published multiple research articles on rejuvenation protocols, for the eyelids, the jawline, and overall skin health transformation. Rachael is known for her gentle touch, natural looking results, and making her patients feel comfortable and at ease with her caring bedside manner that originated in the pediatric nursing before her career in medical aesthetics in 2011. She will guide you in creating your customized rejuvenation plan and skincare routine to achieve your goals through one-on-one sessions. Expert 7-week seasonal skincare tutorials and a year-long membership for the deeper layers of becoming beautifully radiant at theschoolofradiance.com. Rachael Varga is one of the first to blend Western approaches to skincare and the rejuvenation, functional insights, and biohacking optimization strategies. By blending the best of these worlds and observing what her most radiant patients are doing, she will also help to guide you on your path to healthy skin and vibrancy for many years. All right, Rach, let's get straight into it. What does healthy aging mean to you?
Ooh, this is an easy one, and thank you so much for having me here on the show. Really excited to see your podcast come to fruition as well. Healthy aging to me is really simple. It's looking and feeling good. We want to look good. We want to feel good. We want to feel good. We want to look good. And so, really working actually on the inside out, your physical form through nutrition, through sleep, through movement, through living a life of purpose. And, sometimes doing some things superficially for our rejuvenation. That's really what healthy aging is to me. It's not by accident, it's actually very intentional. And it does take a little bit of strategy to do it right. So that's why I've actually written one of my most recent papers on inflammation and the skin aging. You can actually just look my name up on PubMed and see a couple articles. And my next one is on the nervous system and skin aging. So all of these different layers really help us to look at how we can age beautifully and be our best versions and not get overwhelmed with all the different things that are out there and all the trends, but really what works and what gets results.
Wonderful. And what does your daily skincare routine look like from morning to nighttime?
Well, it's funny you say that because obviously the skin and rejuvenation has been my world for a long time. But I would also say that what we do in every moment of the day really impacts our vibrancy, the way that we look, the clarity of our eyes, how we speak, how we really show up. And my routine when I wake up, first of all, I actually go to hydration of my body even before I get in the shower, the bath, and wash my face, do my scrub, do my skincare routine. It actually starts with hydration with a shaker cup here, usually in a stainless steel or BPA free shaker cup like that, with a little creatine, collagen, electrolytes. And I definitely don't go straight to coffee. I go to, say, a tea, like I'm having an organic hibiscus tea, just to kind of warm my voice up. I don't go straight to coffee. This is actually day two of no coffee for me, because coffee can kind of dehydrate us a little bit, make us feel a little bit jittery or anxious. And I like to really just almost, when I'm looking at my skincare routine and my self-care practices, how can I glamorize it a little bit? How can I have fun with that? How can I really enjoy it? So I'll play some music, wash my face, do my scrub, apply my eye cream, moisturizer, sunscreen, do my makeup, and all of that. So when I'm doing my skincare routine, I'm also working on hydrating and fueling my body as well, and just really enjoying that moment of, hey, it's a new day.
Wonderful. Are there any specific skincare products or brands that you love? And you mentioned some supplements there that you put in your water. Those sounds great.
Yeah, I've worked with, the top practitioner grade brands since 2011. And for years, I've supported clients not only in the clinic, but also online. I started doing online consultations back in about 2017. So I was having a lot of out of town clients coming to me. So it really depends on what someone's needs are. But really, there's a couple of basics that I think everybody should be doing. And it does matter what products you're using. You obviously want them to be free of parabens, phthalates, sulfates, artificial dyes, fragrances, and also to meet your needs, whether that's hydration, whether that's pigmentation or acne, or you have sensitive skin. So, yes, I do have a number of recommendations, but it depends what someone's needs specifically are. And it's not just one brand, it's usually a mixture of a couple of different things to really address the goals. Because I found over the years that one brand really doesn't make stellar products in their whole lineup. So a lot of times I'll actually pick and choose over the years. So cleanse the skin morning and night. That's a non-negotiable, not just doing a water splash in the AM. I've seen patients with over the years, patients in the clinic and online, that the ones who have sensitive red skin are typically not cleansing properly. And in some of my research, I found out the impact of air quality on the skin and why cleansing is important. We can get into that a little bit later. But fully rinsing off your cleanser, then moisturizing, then putting your sunscreen on, and then your makeup. But it doesn't have to be complicated, but cleanse twice a day, moisturize twice a day. Sunscreen, yes, a physical sunscreen only, not a chemical sunscreen filter. That's very important. And exfoliating about 2 to 5 times a week. And a lot of times people will hear, oh, I have sensitive skin. I don't want to exfoliate. You got to exfoliate 2 to 5 times a week to really get off that top layer of the skin. Because over time, dirt and debris from the air, like mold or heavy metals through air pollution, can get stuck in that top cornflake layer. And that's why cleansing and exfoliating is actually super important so that what you're putting on the skin to moisturize, kind of like your multivitamin for the skin, can actually absorb better. And that often helps with things like skin dryness.
Wonderful. And what do you think about peels, doing skincare peels? Does that align with anti-aging?
I think exfoliation, so there's a couple of different things that I'll kind of break down for you all tuning into the show here. Is we can exfoliate the skin with a mechanical exfoliant or a chemical exfoliant. So a mechanical scrub is like this little kind of grit. And we've probably all used that back in the day, St. Ives apricot hull scrub. And a lot of scrubs actually have really jagged particles and they can actually create little micro tears. So I'm a big fan of scrubs that actually polish the skin, that are either diatomaceous or magnesium spheres that can just kind of polish the skin instead of just scratching at it. So that's a mechanical scrub. And then a chemical exfoliant is what we would consider a peel. And don't be afraid of the word chemical. You'll probably see this in a lot of personal care products and marketing. Uh, if it's from planet Earth, it's natural. And air and water are actually chemicals. So I have a background in general chemistry, organic chemistry, and biochemistry that I took after my bachelor's of science in nursing. So I'm just a big beauty nerd. And when we have, say, oxygen and hydrogen come together to make water, that's actually chemical. So we hear the word chemical peel, and sometimes we're like, oh no, I don't want to put chemicals on my face. Well, your products that you're using, a lot of times the first ingredient's actually water. It just matters if those chemicals are good for our skin or not good for our skin. So peels and chemical exfoliants can be really nice as kind of like a bit of a starter treatment, like a glycolic acid peel, for example. They're beautiful at just making the skin look glassy. And you can do some at-home peels. You can do some in-clinic options as well. So yes, I am a fan of peels. Not as frequently though, as I would suggest a mechanical exfoliant, like a gentle scrub, about 2 to 5 times a week.
Cool. And what about LED lasers for wrinkles and anti-aging? Are you seeing that in the technology of beauty today?
Yeah, I have patients all the time come to see me. They're like, "Oh, I got this gadget my girlfriend got. I got one too." And I was like, "Okay, how much was it?" Like, "Oh, like $400 or sometimes like $1,100." Then they'll bring it in and I'll take a look at it. And it's this little handpiece thing that has maybe 10 to 30 little LED lights on it that appear to be red. When really, I think a better use of time and money is actually to do some in-clinic laser rejuvenation. That being said, not every skin type is suitable for laser skin rejuvenation. Say if you have a darker skin type or you have a tan, there's some other things that make you not a good candidate for lasers. However, I'm a huge fan of lasers and I laser actually my entire upper body probably twice a year. So the lasers that you're able to buy online, like LED kind of handheld, microcurrent, whatever things, they don't really light a candle to the technologies that are in the clinic. And even in the clinic, there's different types of lasers. And I've taught for a couple of years, actually, not only on injectables, but also lasers for other doctors and nurses. I'm very familiar with this space. There's sort of like the Hyundais of lasers, and then there's the Bugattis of lasers. So the technology really matters. So in regards to like at-home laser technology, I'm not a huge fan of that. I am a huge fan of, what exactly can we do at home? But when it comes to taking care of sun damage, like broken capillaries or sunspots or age spots, pigmentation. Lasers in the clinic, certain lasers do a really good job, but it depends on someone's skin type and needs and all of that. This isn't medical advice, it's educational information only.
Cool.
And then what I recommend actually before even doing some of these at home things is get yourself a red light panel instead, like a full panel. I have a huge head to toe panel actually in my bedroom that I'll turn on, and I'll stand in front of that, and then I'll for about 10 minutes, then I'll flip around and do the other side. So I think that getting a red light panel, for example, from a reputable company that has good wavelengths and good quality products is better than, say, a red light face mask that's just doing the face and you look like a stormtrooper. But to actually stand in front of it and get your whole upper body and then flip around and get your back, I just think it's a little bit more efficient.
Okay, cool. Tell us a little bit about some of your dietary observations that you've noticed when it comes to healthy skin and aging well.
This is a big one. And I might ruffle some feathers here, but when you've been seeing patients online and one-on-one for as long as I have, since 2011 in person and online starting in 2017, before people even knew what Zoom was, I have definitely noticed that vegetarians and vegans tend to have a bit of this kind of grayish hue, this dullness to their skin. I've seen one person, however, who was a vegan bodybuilder, and they looked fabulous. They were glowing. So I think there's something to be said, what's your blood type? What are your nutrient needs? I have published a paper on nutrition and skin aging, actually for a UK journal a couple of years ago. So there's a couple of things that we always want to make sure that we're hitting our marks on, and daily protein intake is one of them. Our body needs all of these essential amino acids and proteins because they're the building blocks of our cells. So say, for example, we're doing in-clinic lasers, or we're using light frequency or microneedling or whatever to stimulate the collagen and get something happening. We want to make sure that the body has the parts that it needs from, say, protein and your diet to make collagen, to make happy, healthy collagen. So hitting your protein goals, that's something I do really diligent about. For me, 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And that does take quite a bit of effort to actually get in my body. It's almost like eating more than I feel like I need to sometimes, but I also work out, and I'll get into muscle and metabolism if you'd like me to as well.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. And then, so that's kind of my quota for protein. And then what I found in the research was 10 to 12 grams of collagen per day. After about a month is where we start to see skin changes, which is fantastic because we lose collagen and elastin as we age. And then, of course, I love taking electrolytes so that I'm getting all these salts that my body needs for a bunch of different reasons. I don't eat out a lot. I cook a lot of my foods. I really keep things simple. A lot of steak, salmon, chicken, sometimes lots of eggs. Those are kind of my staples. And avocados for fats. I don't eat nightshades. I don't like to consume foods that are actually pulling my nutrients because we're in a bit of a different era now with food quality and soil quality than, say, our parents or grandparents were in. So the nutrients in a lot of different foods are different than they are now. So I'm also a specific blood type, so I do really well with a high protein diet. And I've also done a bunch of testing over the years, whether that's DNA testing, gut testing, blood testing. I'm a huge biohacker myself too. So I've found a way that I can fuel myself with high protein, and also about 2.5 liters of water a day for ladies. That's what I found in my research, and about 3 liters of water for men. And then I'm also a fan of creatine. We know that creatine brings water into our muscles. And actually, just a couple months ago, I was speaking with a medical scientist talking about this concept. And I thought to myself, well, actually, if creatine brings water into the cells, which actually electrolytes help to facilitate that. Why can't it bring it into the skin as well, right? Our skin cells are also cells. So I have a bit of a theory that creatine helps to hydrate the skin also. So
Yep.
those are kind of my key basics. I avoid rancid seed oils, kind of like the plague, but we still got to eat out sometimes. So I'll just ask for things to be steamed or cooked in butter instead.
Wonderful. So it sounds there like you have your diet routine, the collagen, and then you also love a few supplements that you mentioned with the, what did you say? What is that supplement? Creatine
And electrolytes.
and electrolytes. Any other supplements that you love, or are those the main ones?
Yeah, I've done a number of studies for a few different companies over the years. One of them was actually alongside a plastic surgeon on the East Coast, and it was translated in 5 languages. And this was a product that was looking that has antioxidants and omegas in the compound as well. And I've also done studies, photography analysis. So after about 4 weeks of being on a really good antioxidant, what I found with these studies of probably about 4 different antioxidant adaptogenic types of products, and one of them with omegas as well, is basically if we're reducing inflammation in the skin, which antioxidants do, they help to empty the toxic bucket, right? The level of when this bucket gets full, we see skin redness, skin rashes, things like that. And I wrote a research paper on what fills that bucket, which I can break down shortly here.
Sure.
But but essentially, if something's reducing inflammation in the body, you should be seeing less redness and puffiness around the eyes. So in as little as 4 weeks, that's usually what I'll see in really well formulated products is less redness, puffiness around the eyes, and a little bit of a drop in pigmentation. And in one of them in particular, there was a reduction of fine lines and wrinkles in as little as 4 weeks. So I'm a huge fan of antioxidants as well.
Cool. Love that. And when it comes to eating out, do you have favorites that you would choose from for breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
I sure do. So if it's breakfast, definitely eggs. And I will ask that they be scrambled in butter, not in like a canola oil. That's usually a breakfast go-to. But I sometimes don't even have breakfast. Like I'll spend my morning essentially working on my hydration. I will travel with protein bars or meat sticks, but I'll usually, if I'm traveling, have lunch and dinner for the most part. And my favorite go-tos are going to be a 10-ounce steak. Doesn't matter what cut it is, but a 6-ounce steak doesn't really satiate me enough. But I also do a lot of weightlifting. I'll get into actually how much weight I can move
Okay.
with my 5'8", 140-pound frame, which is kind of ridiculous, even compared to a lot of other guys at the gym. So we'll talk about that and why I think that happens. But definitely go for a steak with some beets on the side, or if it's kind of like a burger joint, I'll get a double patty burger, for example. You can just leave the bun out and things like that. Those are kind of my go-tos actually. If I go out for dinner, is I just go straight for the steak.
Cool. And do you cook much at home with meat as well? You
Oh
said
yeah.
proteins.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love my cast iron pans. I love my cast iron cookware. I'm really lucky where I live here on Vancouver Island. We have a lot of farms. So it's really easy for me to say drive 10 minutes and get what I need from a local farm. And I'll usually have, ground beef or steak or lamb, salmon once a week, maybe chicken a couple times a week. I'll get like a rotisserie chicken and then eggs in there as a bit of a snack. But I do love cooking. I find you just have a little bit more control over how you're feeling your body. And hey, if you want to look good, you want to feel good too, and you got to feel yourself effectively. But I do love to go out and on the weekends, I will have some treats. I'll have like a really beautiful dessert somewhere, but I just won't have a lot of it. And if I do choose to have a dessert, I'll actually go for a cheesecake because it has more protein.
What is your blood type?
I'm, oh,
Okay, cool, cool.
yeah.
Vancouver. So Rachel lives in Vancouver. That's so exciting.
Vancouver Island, actually. I'm on this little beautiful island just surrounded by water and scenery. So I'm out of the big city, but it's, easy to get there through ferry, float plane, or helicopter.
Okay, cool. Do you see many people? Is it an active lifestyle there?
Oh yeah, lots of hiking, lots of boating, walking. It is a pretty active lifestyle. We have parks absolutely everywhere here. Same with actually on Vancouver on the mainland. The whole, I would say, Pacific Northwest is pretty well known for being that more active lifestyle with getting outside in nature a little bit more. And then I also snowbirded in Florida, which is how we met in West Palm Beach and Palm Beach area. I mean, no matter where you are, getting outside, I'm actually going to the beach after this to get some grounding in the ocean and a little sunshine on my body. And the active lifestyle component, no matter where you are, is really important to continue to facilitate to keep your metabolism strong. And then I'm at the gym about 5, 6 days a week too.
Wonderful. Are there many health clubs there? Like, do you get involved with the health clubs in Vancouver?
Oh yeah, health and fitness are pretty high on the priority list, especially for individuals, I would say 40 and up. So for my patients that I see here who are more mature and they're 60, 70, 80, 90, they love to do some of the personal training, dance, Zumba, yoga. And I do have some actually in their late 70s that are also doing weight training as well. Gyms are everywhere here. The active lifestyle is pretty popular, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's more popular than anywhere else in the US, right? If you have a pocket of people who are really interested in building a beautiful life, they want to feel good and they want to look good too. So there's usually that driver of really looking after the body so that you have more time to enjoy all the hard work and retirement and still be able to go to the beach and swim around in your 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Totally
Not
hear.
not let life pass you by, essentially. That's really important.
I agree with that philosophy. And when it comes to anti-aging and skincare, do you feel like there are top 5 or 10 mistakes that you find many people are making?
Yeah, that's going to be pretty easy for me to rattle off here. Number one, I would say is getting back to the concept of the water splasher. If someone's actually not using a good cleanser for their skin to rinse off dirt and debris and makeup and products with their first cleanse, and missing out on a double cleanse actually before bed, the first cleanse is going to take off degree. Heavy metals, mold even get on the skin. I found that in my research on inflammation and skin aging. And then the second cleanse is actually washing the skin. So skimping on the cleansing. Another mistake I've seen is people want to go super clean. So they'll go for like an avocado oil or an olive oil or a tallow. But think about this for a second. Your body is going to be nutrient deficient if you were to say only fuel it with that. And the same thing goes with the skin. We want to be working with more sophisticated formulations in our skincare moisturizers and serums that are stable and that are feeding the skin. So that have humectants, antioxidants, peptides, not just one thing, right? That's going to work on hydration like olive oil, avocado oil, or tallow. Another big mistake I see is people don't use their sunscreen. I'm a huge fan of sunscreen. However, on the high real estate areas every day, that's a non-negotiable. Face, eyelids, neck, chest, hands. And then for the rest of the body, I actually love to get full body sun exposure. So I'll put on my cute bikini and go by the water and enjoy my time there. Be a little mermaid, especially when I'm in Florida in the warmer weather. So getting that sun exposure, I think, is important. Also, there's lots of research on vitamin D. And what I found personally is when I have reduced inflammation, right? Toxic bucket, all the biohacking cool stuff that I do, that I published a paper on to give like a framework of what are the most important biohacks to do for reducing inflammation. I could go outside and not burn in 10 minutes. So that was really interesting for me to notice that when I reduced inflammation in my body, I could be outside longer and not burn as fast. Another really important thing, and I'd say in our society and our culture in general, is we're looking for that fast, quick fix. And that can be looking at a skincare product that's going to solve all your problems, or this one rejuvenation treatment that's going to make you look 10 years younger, or this one surgery, or this one shot, right? That's going to give you the body of your dreams. It's not about the one thing. That doesn't work. It's actually laying your foundations, and then all of those things you start to see benefits. But most people, they just don't choose to do that. They're kind of looking for that quick fix, and they'll pay money for something that promises the world. It's never just one thing that really gets the skin looking beautiful, the body feeling strong and vibrant, and of course, building upon radiance, which is sort of like the deeper layer of what I've come to study and what my purpose is to unpack.
Wonderful. I love that concept of the radiance. I feel like when I saw you for the first time, that's probably the word I would have used to describe you, because you had this glow, and I guess radiance was the word, is the word. It makes complete sense. Okay, so when it comes to the difference between men and women with their skincare, do you notice differences in products or how the skin behaves?
Yeah, I'll actually get into a general difference that I've observed with how a woman's face ages and how a man's face ages. We all carry tension in our face in different areas. And some of us, when we're focusing on a task, will furrow our brows and we'll focus, or we'll raise our eyebrows up, or we'll purse our lips together, or we'll tighten our jaw and clench down, or even just like chewing the inside of the cheek. And this will actually activate usage of facial muscles more. And so just think about this for a second. If you're when you're listening to this and maybe you're doing something else throughout the day, what do you do with your face when you're focusing? Are you pursing your lips? Because a lot of times ladies complain of the lip lines that they get, or the jowls that they get, right? The wobble to the jawline, the sagging of the jawline. And what's really interesting is women's faces, actually, the jawline gets wider as they age from talking, chewing, all sorts of things. The muscles are masseter muscles that sit right in front of our ears. And our jowl is actually a muscle. It's called the depressor angularis. And the chin muscle, called the mentalis muscle, they get worked, they get bigger, right? And then, so the jawline of a woman's face gets wider. It actually becomes more masculinized. It turns into like a right side up triangle instead of a youthful female face, is more that upside down triangle. So that's the difference I see with women. And then with men, the jawline actually becomes more feminized with the drop in testosterone. So that angle to the jaw shifts. They lose that definition. Big shifts definitely happen when hormone shifts happen as well. So the skin gets a little thinner and creepier for women when there's the drop of estrogen, say around perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. And then for guys, I noticed that skin shift really changes when they're in their 40s and 50s, and they're starting to see the sins of the summer, right? The sun damage show up with crow's feet. I would say for both, the first signs of aging on the face happen around the eyes. And I published this actually in one of my papers on eyelid rejuvenation and some of the non-surgical and surgical things we can do to correct that. But it's definitely the eyes, lower eye bags, crow's feet, hooded upper eyelids. That's for both, I would say, pretty evenly across the board. But for guys, the sun damage, believe it or not, on the back of the neck. The guys don't see the back of the neck, the ladies do. And I remember I saw a pilot once, and they just get blasted with the sun, right? And this is a early 40s guy. So, oh, don't forget to like put your skincare and your sunscreen on the back of your neck too, because guys have shorter hair and ladies typically have longer hair as we've gone through life. And when ladies have short hair, they have to really pay attention to the sides of the neck and also the back of the neck too. So that there's some differences, but there's also some similarities. And those are what I've observed over the years.
Interesting. Okay, and if someone wanted to improve their skin health, their overall skin health, what are three habits that they should start today? Building on what you said before, I love the awareness of facial muscles when we're relaxing, and but also routines, and then it's different for men and women because I feel like women really do value, at least after 30, putting time into their schedule to ensure these routines. But some men think it's too feminine and just ignore it, and you can tell. And I think it's healthy and important that both men and women prioritize healthy skin habits.
It's actually the same for men and women. And I'm just going to simplify this as being it's honestly, it's your foundations. It's being consistent with your skincare routine, cleansing, moisturizing, sunscreen, exfoliation a couple times a week. Couples, married couples, they can share their skincare products, right? It doesn't need to be gender specific skincare products. Hitting the basics, protecting, cleansing, exfoliating, all that. And then the next category, if I were to pick three, the next category is how you're fueling your body through hydration, through protein, through antioxidants, through omegas, through maybe supporting other things that your body needs too. What are your hormones up to as you age? And then the third category is reducing inflammation on all fronts. And that's a big category in and of itself. And I wrote a paper on this because I saw a gap and I actually presented this at Dave Asprey's biohacking conference as well. He wanted me to speak, and he knew I was writing this paper, so I presented it there for the first time. So to reduce inflammation, we want to look at where is inflammation, where are toxins coming from in our environment. And you asked about red light. People usually just go straight to red light and they think they're a biohacker. But really, what biohacking is modulating your environment to support your biology. And everything that you do should be bringing down inflammation. You should be getting better sleep. So the way that that inflammatory bucket gets full is through toxins in air, water, lighting, electromagnetics, food, and then also needing to do some detoxing from yeast, fungi, mold, heavy metals, and parasites. So this third bucket of reducing inflammation, there's about 10 things in that. And so what I suggest when I do a one-on-one with someone is I look at what they're already doing and what's working, what's going to be a good ROI for more energy and better sleep. Because when you have more energy, when your cells are efficiently operating, when your biology is working better, you're sleeping better, you're recovering better, you're working out, all this stuff, you're going to look better. Your face, you're simply going to have more of this vibrancy and this radiance. So dialed in skincare routine, feeling your body appropriately, and then reducing toxins on all front. Those are the three things that I would say are foundational. And then things like in the clinic, say whether that's lasers or cleaner versions of neuromodulators or surgery. I published my papers for eye rejuvenation and jawline rejuvenation, kind of like an algorithm of least invasive to most invasive. So say, for example, you do all these things from a non-surgical perspective, you might not need that surgery. But in some cases, things like eyelid surgery, it's just going to give you a better result and it's going to have more durability. So it just depends on the specific needs of somebody.
Cool. And what trends do you see today with skincare and nutrition, longevity that you feel you're excited about right now? I know we're research-based scientists, so do you get excited with trends or not really?
Skincare ingredient trends that I'm excited about. I don't think that what I think that what we hear as being exciting now, like copper peptide, that started to get super popular, I'd say about 2018, 2019. But that was in skincare products when I started in the industry in 2011. Same with exosomes, stem cells. That was already in practitioner grade, medical grade skincare back in the day. So they sound new now, but they actually haven't been new in the industry for those who have been around for a while. But these new things, they sort of get like packaged up and all this stuff. But when it comes to trends, I don't love trends. Trends come and go. But what I find really cool right now is, and I'll share my next prediction with you. What I find now is starting in about 2017, 2018, a lot of people were coming to me. They're like, I want to work on my skin health. Instead of before, everyone wanted to look like Kim K kind of thing, right? Especially in bigger metropolitan areas. They wanted the big lips, they wanted a bunch of filler. And now we've gone towards a little bit more of a skin health approach, especially with some of the innovations with light wavelengths, with really phenomenal powerful dialed in lasers in med spas. But the trend that I really have enjoyed seeing is getting muscle on for a couple of different reasons. And part of my story is I was in two not so fun car crashes. And prior to that, super fit, personal training, doing fitness shoots, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, all of that, really good shape. And then I got hurt and I couldn't move the same way. I couldn't exercise to the same capacity. And I lost a lot of muscle. I think I got down to about 120 something pounds, which is, I'm fairly athletic. I have a very feminine build. But that was, I felt really thin for me. And I had even just this one time I'll never forget. I was opening a jar and my grip strength was gone. It's like, I can't do this because I can't keep up with this. I'll be in my 70s and 80s and be frail and weak. So, my why for starting to lift heavy, and I can get into that, and this drive to put on as much muscle as I possibly could in 2 years, which was 25 pounds in 2 years. So, that's a lot. And I'm glad I did it because my body is just able to do anything. I feel so powerful and strong and capable and smooth movements. So the muscle trend, I think, is great because more muscle means less low back pain, right? You don't want Kobe beef, marbled, fatty back muscles, right? I saw a neurosurgeon talk about low back pain, and he says you get that muscle up, it helps with back pain. And then the muscle helps to grab excess sugar that's floating in the bloodstream. So it helps to stabilize your blood sugars. But working out, weightlifting also makes your bones stronger. And the concept of getting muscle on for metabolic wellness and the shift to metabolic wellness, I think has been phenomenal. And my prediction of the trend of where things are going to go is actually a little bit more gymnastics, a little bit more calisthenics, because I spent 2 years putting on as much muscle as I could. Then I did a yoga class and I could barely move. All my muscles were super tight. So you really got to blend the strength and conditioning, the cardio training, the flexibility, the stability, and then looking at some of the different metrics for what's trending right now is women being able to do a pull-up or being able to deadlift more than your body weight or being able to squat more than your body weight or being able to farmer walk your body weight for a minute, things like that, dead hang from a bar for a minute and a half. So I think we're seeing not just get that muscle on, but actually how we can move and flow and create beautiful muscle while also looking at our tendons and our joints and our ligaments and our fascia. So that's where I think the next trend is going to be. And that's through looking at more functional movement metrics.
Wonderful. And where can we follow more of you and your work for our audience? I'm going to share my screen now so that we could check out your website.
Yeah, the School of Radiance, everything's there. It's kind of like my ecosystem. If you go to the top left, there's the freebies. It's a free 30, I actually just updated it. It's about a 45-minute free lesson. And I actually break down my research paper on what are the most important biohacks that you should be doing to take care of your air, water, lighting, electromagnetics, eat the right foods, and then start to detox. So it's totally free. Definitely get that. That's the schoolofradiance.com/freebies. And then obviously the show, the School of Radiance podcast. I've been hosting that for about 10 years, been a top 30 show in how-to and education, have had beautiful speakers. Some of the most well-known names have been on the show, and I've been on theirs over the years too. So we just have these great conversations. But the show is really fun because it's not one of those podcasts where I'm rattling off all these things that you need to do. It's everyone's on their own journey and really focusing actually a little bit more on the radiance component of how we can be our most radiant versions. It's not just physical, it's emotional, it's energetic, it's spiritual. And so the School of Radiance podcast really dials in what actually contributes to radiance, because in Ayurveda, the radiant body is the 10th body. And we have all these other bodies, right? There's all these other buckets, parts of ourselves. Body, mind, spirit, energy are just the first four. The radiant body is the 10th body. So it's kind of like a high vibe, easy listen, positive show. So that's the School of Radiance podcast.
Wonderful.
And then, of course, Instagram, Rachael Varga Official. I share a lot of really fun, inspirational things on there too.
Cool. Lovely. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for spending time with us today. Thank you for sharing your time, space, and energy with us. And as we get started with this new podcast, having similar guests, and so far it's been very much Palm Beach aligned, and I look forward to the future. Would love to have you back on the show again.
Fabulous. Well, great to be here and really excited to connect with a number of you all here too. I did snowbird in Palm Beach Gardens. So I do love the Florida area as well. It's very close and dear to my heart, and just love the lifestyle there. Sunshine, good food, the beach, kind of water activities. I really enjoy Florida. It's one of my favorite places.
I would move to Miami in a heartbeat.
Yeah, the only thing you got to watch out for is, like, I'm a big golfer. I golfed every day this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the only thing with the golf community is you get a lot of exposure to glyphosates, which are pesticides on the golf greens. So you do want to make sure you have a good detox protocol, because I've lived actually next to golf courses or on golf courses a long time. And they showed up in my talk screens, glyphosates. I'm like, I eat so clean. Where is this from? On
Interesting.
the golf courses. Yep.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.